Hello, my name is Matt Kosch. This is EDL 856, Module 10. Case study, a new role for the parents' organization. In this case study, as principal, I am concerned about the newly formed parents' organization. Parents were a part of the national PTA, but now want to function as a new independent organization. I felt that the PTA was fine and did not see a need for change. The new organization wants to be more involved in the school. The parents feel they are not involved enough and want to change that with the new organization. As principal, my belief is that parents should not be involved in things like school decision making or developing instructional and curricular policies. The new group disagrees. On Thursday, I had a meeting with representatives of the new parents organization. The president of the parents group is a young attorney, and this person let me know that they had decided that a change was needed. They want to know what is really going on in the classrooms. They have some other demands, such as the school sponsoring a series of back-to-school meetings and parent-teacher conferences during American Education Week. They also want teachers to make presentations. I tried to raise a question but was ignored. I found this to be disrespectful. The parents know they have an important stake in the quality of education offered to their students and want to contribute. I can understand this, even if I felt disrespected. They want to be equal partners. They have formed committees on things such as discipline, teacher performance, curriculum, and total school evaluation. The parents do want to work cooperatively with administration and want my support as a school principal. Of course, the proposal took me by surprise. I have a lot of questions and concerns regarding these new committees and new parents organization. What if this doesn't work out? I will be the one held responsible. I have my feelings about this situation, but I also need to respond to the parents in a way that will meet their concerns without upsetting the educational program of the school. There are some legal and ethical issues here. In this case, no one has been harmed by the action or decision of another. As principal, I may feel a little disrespected or undermined, but no one has been harmed. The formation of this new parents organization does not contravene an existing law that I am aware of. There does not seem to be a breach of contract, and there were no actions that were discriminatory or that constituted harassment. There may be some ethical and legal questions. The first question is, should a parents group be allowed to make these types of decisions relating to their children's education without actually having a background in education? The second question is, should a school be allowed to prevent the parents group from making these types of decisions related to their children's education? The third question is, does this parents group speak for all members of the community? What about the non-English speaking people in the community? Is it right for them to make these decisions if they don't speak for everyone? What happened in a single sentence? A new parents organization is formed that wants more control over their children's education, but the school principal isn't quite sure if this is a good idea. The facts of this case. The people involved in this case are me as the principal and members of the newly formed parents organization. The president of the organization is a young attorney. The place is a school. There's no mention of the location, the physical condition, the demographics, or if it is a rural or suburban school. As for the program, there's no mention of the curriculum, but I do know the parents organization wants more control over the curriculum. There's no mention of the grade levels in the school. There's no mention of special or bilingual education. It does not specifically say if the school is public or private, but one might assume that it is a public school, maybe. Review and prioritize the information. The conflict, the situation, and the decision could potentially be damaging to the stakeholders in the community. The reason is what happens if not all stakeholders in the community are comfortable with the new parents organization? What if the ideas and changes that the new organization wants to make are not good? This could damage the stakeholders in the community. The individuals and groups that have an important stake in the outcome are the students, the staff, the parents, and all of the stakeholders in the community. The new parents organization could impact all of these people in either a negative or a positive way. All of the relevant stakeholders have not been consulted in this situation. I wonder what the teachers would think of it. They may not be very open to having to make changes and do presentations. A good way for me to learn more about this situation would be to talk to school staff, parents, and community members that are not a part of the new parents organization. I do not believe that I know quite enough information to make a decision just yet. Options and possible consequences. The first option for me to consider is doing nothing. If I do nothing, I would allow this new parents organization to run the school. This is what they want, even though they say they want me to cooperate with them. To me, it seems they want total control, and by doing nothing, I would be giving them total control. This would be a path of least resistance for me. The most extreme action I could take would be to not accept the new parents organization. I could tell them that we will only recognize the national PTA as we have done in the past. Another extreme option would be to quit, so I don't have to deal with the new parents organization. One intermediate strategy would be to cooperate with the new parents organization, but also let them know that I am the one that has the final decision on things. Another intermediate strategy would be to form my own organization made up of staff and students to work alongside the new parents organization. I will now evaluate all 5 of my options. Number 1, by doing nothing, the pros are avoiding conflict, at least for the moment. The cons are being demoted, essentially. I would allow this organization to run my school. I will rule this option out now. Number 2, another option is to not accept the new organization. The pro is that potentially the new organization would have to disband. The cons are creating new enemies and maybe even still having to deal with this new organization. The third option is to quit. The pro is not having to deal with the new organization. The cons are not having a job and potentially having a hard time finding a new job based on why I quit. The fourth option is cooperating with the new organization but letting them know that I still have the final decision. The pros to this are showing that I am willing to accept change and willing to work with a new group. The cons are giving in to the new group and still maybe not being allowed to make the final decision. The fifth option is to create a new organization with staff and students to work alongside the new group. The pro is the new group could create positive change. The con is the conflict with the new parents group. Upon reflecting, I pick the fifth option. I will create a new organization with staff and students to work alongside the new parents group. In order to implement my decision with the greatest care and attention to the concerns of all stakeholders, I will talk to staff, students, and community members about the new parents organization. I will get their opinions on it and tell them of my plan to cooperate with the new group, but also how I want to add students and staff, maybe even community members, to the group. By doing this, I will ensure that all stakeholders are consulted. I believe that I have identified creative options. In my opinion, the decisions that the new parents group wants to make are not decisions to be made only by parents. But if students, parents, staff, and even community members are involved in making the decisions, I think all stakeholders are well represented in the decision-making process. Implementing my decision. The first thing I need to do when implementing my decision is to let all stakeholders, parents, students, staff, and community members know about my decision to create the new group. I will then talk to different stakeholders about this decision and get their opinions. After that, I will need to select staff and students for the group. Finally, I will need to have a meeting with my new group and the new parents group. The goal of this meeting will be to find a way to work together for our school. One likely outcome of my decision is some resistance from the members of the new parents group. That is something that we will need to work through. Another likely outcome is an improved school. The larger group made up of students, staff, and parents is something that all stakeholders will need to be made aware of. Any resistance that I get from people will be dealt with by me. We will discuss any concerns, but I will let people know that this is the direction we are headed. Of course, I will not threaten people that take issue with my decision, but I will be firm in letting them know the decision has already been made. Thank you.